When I was living in New Britain and I was going to school there, I was having troubles with housing stability and basically having a place to call home. And I was going through a lot of things at the place that I was staying when I was staying there, and the schools never really had much advice to give me. And I went to a really big school with lots of students, and I never knew who to talk to or where to go to with the problems that I was facing. I feel like because school is such a huge part of your life, especially as a child growing up, they should have all the answers to these big things that people could be facing. Homelessness is such a big issue, especially for the youth population, and it's growing, and it really should be something that people at schools, like guidance counselors and the social workers, should have the answers to. They should be able to tell you to go to 211, to call the McKinney liaison, who that is. They should be able to help you get through that and get through school. And I wasn't really offered anything. My picture is of me outside of my school, and this was one of the many nights that I had nowhere else to go, so I would kind of just walk around New Britain, and I sometimes came to the school because that was one of the only familiar places that I knew, and I would just be looking in from the outside because that was like my go-to place. That was the only place that I kind of had some type of protection, and even though that was the only place I knew to go to, they still didn't have the answers that I needed. What I want people to take away from this is that schools are an important part of every youth's life, and no matter where you grow up, you're gonna face different problems in your life, and school's always gonna be a part of it. And whether the issue is something as small as your grades or whatever, or something as big as you facing homelessness, they should be prepared to tell you what you need to do, to sit down with you and come up with some next steps for you. Just even if they don't know what services are around, help you try to find them and map out where you're going to be in the next couple months or the next couple years. Because honestly, it's really hard to go through it alone, especially when you're 17 or 18 or even younger, and high school, facing homelessness, and the adults around you don't have the answers. What are you supposed to do? Some solutions that we already have and stuff like that is creating trainings and making sure that everyone in schools, such as teachers and guidance counselors and other people that interact with students on a daily basis, are trained to know and equipped with the know-how of what to do when a youth that comes to them and says that they're homeless, that there's 211, there's shelters that they can help them connect with, that there's McKinney liaisons that are people in schools who are trained to work with homeless youth and make sure that they get everything that is needed for them to be successful. Because just because you're homeless, just because you don't have a place to stay, doesn't mean that you have to fail through school, doesn't mean you have to drop out. It just means that you need some support, and it means that you need help and other resources that we have that need to be tapped into for you. And there should be an easy access to these resources, to these people, and they need to be able to sit down with you and create a plan with you on what you're going to do next. You come to them, tell them that you're homeless, and they should be able to jot down step 1, step 2, step 3, until you can say that you're stable.